Before you guys answer, we got to go to weather, traffic, weather. Hold on, we got to do a break. Coming in, number 5 on the countdown. We'll be right back with the Chainsmokers. But before we get back to them, we got Taylor Swift at number 5. She drops 5 spots. You guys can stick around for 4 more breaks. All right, cool.
That's so true.
Brad always loves.
I'm getting like chills right now.
I know. Yeah, well, I mean, like it's a different world, but it's the same world where we got to do those interviews as well, and you get the guys that are like, so what can we expect from your comedy show tonight? You're like,
some jokes.
Give us a little
jokes.
preview.
Hoping that's gonna happen. But before we really get going, I just have to say that, well, first of all, rock stars are always on the cusp of what's breaking, what's new. Dude, you have jeans that have plaid. What is this? Like,
dude, I thought it was cool with my Lululemon pants, but you have $1 me Price is Right style.
Yeah, is this something that's coming down the pipe? Is this something that we
better
all
get
have
ready?
I don't know. If it's a trend, I think I'm gonna start it.
Yeah, those are dope.
I don't know who else is gonna be wearing.
Did Chris D'Elia tell you to wear those?
No, I think of him every morning when I get dressed.
Yeah, we all do.
What would Chris wear?
Yeah,
I know.
Does that ever enter your head like, wow, if I do an Instagram video of me doing some weird thing or even wearing something having to do with fashion, you're like, wow, our fans will probably just be like, oh, that's what we're doing now?
Yeah.
We're doing the beach ball in your butt challenge? Okay, cool.
Yeah. I hope they don't follow us blindly into the dark, but I don't know. Actually, so we have this guy, like kid Ben, who we've been shouting out a lot recently, who he's like one of those sneaker seller kids.
Okay.
And he told me, he came over to my house the other day. He's like, hey, do you have those, like, the pair of, like, old, like, Off-White Air Maxes that, like, you destroyed? Totally destroyed these shoes. He has these clients that are these, I don't know, they're like, up-and-coming DJs, I guess.
Okay.
And they keep buying all my old used shit. That's, like, destroyed. They just want my shit.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I gave him these, like, 4 pairs of shoes to sell, and he sold all 4 pairs. I've never worn any of them to, like, these kids for, like, $1,000.
Do you get a cut?
Yeah. Well, he gets credit, and then I get other sneakers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does it stop at sneakers, or is there other
favors being
Yeah.
exchanged?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just things that he's like willing to buy.
I don't know. I just found out about these kids. I've tested them with the shoes.
Yeah,
now
for
we're gonna
sure.
try some more obscure objects. And see what they go
Old
for.
dental floss.
Yeah, right. Get a pretty price for that.
Dunkaroos you didn't finish.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dunkaroos. Wow, what a throwback song.
Oh,
dude, that's
Where did that come from?
get ready.
my brain, dude.
Yeah. Get ready for a lot of throwbacks on this podcast.
Yeah, if you guys ever want to get high and just have your childhood snacks show up, just give me shoot me a quick text.
we got Gushers, we got Teddy Grahams.
Slow down though, because none of these are sponsors.
We would like them to be. Maybe you guys can tell them to sponsor us, and then
Do you guys have a road snack or a pre-show ritual or drink?
Tequila
Or?
is a lot pretty popular one.
I knew we were gonna connect.
Yeah, tequila's tight,
pretty
man.
popular.
Tequila's tight.
Good, yeah. A specific brand?
No, we can't. No, we're not shouting anyone out.
Yeah.
We're trying to
Oh,
sell our
yeah.
own tequila
Nice.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta
I
get your own going?
Yeah, it's a game plan.
You definitely should get your own
Yeah,
going.
it makes sense.
Yeah, it
And
does.
all the things that we should be a part of. You know what I
Hey,
mean? Like tequila. For
Diddy
sure.
has Ciroc.
Yeah.
You know, you guys could have your tequila.
It would be great.
I mean, and yeah, maybe a few years ago you may have laughed at that and be like, we'll never have tequila, but fuck, you guys have a production company now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we went down to Tequila Town where they make all the tequila.
Where's that?
It's in
Tequila,
Guadalajara.
Mexico, yeah.
Is
Oh,
that
fuck. I thought it was like near Toontown in Disneyland. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
You're like next to Guy Fieri's Flavor Town. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, so yeah, Flavor Town, Tequila Town.
Yeah.
I really
just-
need to live here.
I just saw a great Guy Fieri meeting where it was like, just when you're sad, just remember that the Earth's been around for like 4,536,000,000 years, and you lived during Guy Fieri's
Existence.
Yeah, existence.
Prime time.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is exciting.
I mean,
Our kids won't get to do that.
yeah,
No.
I do have one Guy Fieri story
Oh,
where,
please.
where I
Share.
met him.
Oh, please.
Please share.
I met him backstage at a Kid Rock concert, which is just all.
First of all, this sounds exactly where you'd meet guys.
Yeah, it's like no, it's like oh no, we were in the Louvre in Paris, and he was examining some of the paintings and giving me a full art history background. No, it was at a Kid Rock concert, and he handed me a barbecue sandwich from catering and said, "That's good barbecue." And I was like, "Wow, all right."
Catering?
Yeah, from catering.
Arena Catering?
You sure it wasn't from like his back pocket or something like that?
He just has it on him at all
Can you
times.
change the story so that he pulled it out of his pocket?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll cut this and be like, yes. And then he pulled out a pulled pork sandwich from his sock and said, "That's good barbecue. Welcome to Flavor Town." And I'm like, wow, Thank you for doing that. Now, like, so people would have a dream of when they meet Guy Fieri, they get to eat barbecue with him. Is there something that
what's the equivalent?
Yeah, is there something
Chainsmokers.
that people constantly ask you guys to do? Like, oh, I want to do this with the Chainsmokers.
Like do it with us?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess drinking is a big one.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we used to, when we were like coming up, we would play a lot of colleges and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Like sometimes for frats and sometimes for like more official things for the universities. And I feel like we kind of like had a reputation for like showing up unannounced to like frat parties and
in a cool way, yeah.
Yeah, in a cool way.
So it was like, oh shit, they might show up tonight.
Yeah, and then just like throw down DJs more.
Yeah.
Like,
So you guys were like the Bill Murray of DJs.
that's what I thought I wanted.
I'll take that.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
They might show up.
Yeah.
Like you never know.
And we've ran into like a couple people that have been at these frat parties. I mean, like, dude, like you showed up at like Vanderbilt like frat party, like 7 years ago. It was so sick.
dope.
And I like remember flashback to like, because it's fun when you get there. You're like, this is gonna be sick, but inevitably you're like hit that moment where you're like ripping a bong with like an 18-year-old in his room, and he's got like his throwback like Seattle Supersonics jersey on. 'Cause that's what all college kids wear.
Yeah.
and they're just like, and you're like, where are my friends? Why am you're like, why am I?
How did I
here?
get in here?
You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
this guy had a bong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
How
just-
were those frat parties? Because I was in a frat in college,
Yeah.
and when bands were there, it was the shit. And DJs, like, it was any sort of like thing that was not just somebody playing music from their.
It was really, I mean, they were really fun. They'd always be like super welcoming. And I went to NYU, so I didn't really have any of that like lifestyle of frat
A
parties.
lot of house parties and stuff.
And house parties
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. He went to Syracuse, so they had that there. So he would just like, he reverts back to his old self. And
Yeah,
then-
Syracuse is a
primal
party
frat,
city.
Yeah.
We've done some
Star
stand
Drew.
up there at the
Yeah.
college. It's bonkers.
Yeah,
dude.
it's a fun place.
I mean, when all you have is a giant mall dinosaur barbecue.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have
You
a
did it.
giant
You
mall
nailed
and
'em.
dinosaur barbecue.
Check, done.
So you got that. Now it's time to drink.
Yeah. But they were always really fun. I mean, it was like the surprise. To me, it's like, those are the cool things that I would have loved if like I had was a fan of like a big artist or
Fuck yeah.
sports guy or something, and show up and do that.
What type of like how different are you guys now from those days? And how often do you think back to those times, like when you're sitting in your dope pad now?
I mean, not much different, to be honest with you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
If
I guess
he
we're
could
older.
have had plaid on his jeans, then he would have.
Yeah. Well, I feel
What
like
do you think?
That's gonna be the commercial, by the way. Just silence and you going like that.
I feel like the problem is as you get older, like
You're
the
gonna
people
wanna
on your
listen to
team,
this.
they make you more. They're like, yeah, so like your lawyer calls you. He's like, I heard you went to a frat last night. You know what I mean? And you're like,
Right.
yeah, it was sick. And he's like, you'd be very liable if something bad happened there. You know what I mean? And you're like, wait, what? And you're like, shouldn't do that anymore. And then you're like, damn it. You know what I mean?
The
And
other
like,
problem we
start
had is you get the reputation for like being like around and stuff, and then people start impersonating you, and then you get people coming up to you being like, yo, like I met you at like in Sarasota. I'm like, I've never been to Sarasota.
Oh shit!
Like I know we were here, we're taking shots. You hooked up with my friend's girlfriend, and like you're like that wasn't me.
Whoa.
That
So not
wasn't
even just
me.
like fake Instagram accounts, but fake
People. And,
Dude, that's
and then we got this.
insane.
I like when you start to like do your thing. Eventually you like become a meme.
Yes.
And the meme that we've become, I actually really enjoy.
Oh, that's good.
And the basis of it is that the Chainsmokers could be any two random white dudes,
Yeah.
which kind of plays into
That's
that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like the first
Okay.
one, I think, like fuck Jerry, someone posted. It's a meme that says, "Damn, the Chainsmokers have really like let themselves go," and it's a picture of Jonah Hill and Michael Cera like walking on the street in New York, and
Well done.
That's amazing.
I mean,
Yeah.
but you almost kind of want that because it says you're popular, but B, if
well, they're not all nice and funny.
Oh, really?
Oh no, of course.
I mean, do you like? Are
But
you
you have
the
to let
kind
it
of
go. You do
person
have
that
to let
like
it go.
reads your YouTube comments and goes, "Man, Eiffel 65 42 says Blue Dabba Dee's the greatest song. Fuck that!"
Yeah.
Like
I feel like YouTube's just super dark place. Like I mean, not that like the people use it are bad, but like it's if you're commenting on YouTube videos, like
Who you be?
yeah,
You know,
that's-
you guys,
what I mean.
You guys,
Who you be?
Like usually I think those things. Like if I see a bad music video or something, I'm like, this video sucks. But I
Yeah.
don't actually go and write
No,
it
no,
underneath.
that's so
I need
exhausting.
to tell the world.
Yeah.
Underneath, I
my
keep it to
thoughts
my.
need to be heard.
Yeah, and so, but like I did this thing. I haven't done it in a while now because now I've realized like an important thing, which is like you have a lot of fans, so like why would you spend time like shouting out your haters?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that
Focus on the
stuck with me.
positive.
But like it wasn't always that way. And I used to like if someone commented something negative, I would like look into who they were, and then I would go to their girlfriend's page and comment on their most recent photo and be like, damn, you look good here. And so like she would go home, and then the boyfriend, she'd be like, Chainsmokers like said I look really good, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and the boyfriend would be like, I hate those guys, you know what I mean? And she would always be
They must have read my comment.
yeah.
Like you're not around for that, but you just know
You
it's
just know.
happening in some way, shape, or
He'd be
form.
like, those guys suck. And she'd be like, they seem pretty sweet to me.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. They seem like great
Pretty
guys.
awesome.
Yeah.
And but I love that you said that like now you're focusing on like the positive aspect of your fans, and you really are. Please tell me if this is true, because I read this and I want this to be true.
So do we.
You took a fan on tour with you because they made a piano cover of the song Paris, and you're like, that person's
we took
awesome.
A fan, a piano player, and a drummer, is actually now basically a full-time member of the band.
No way.
Yeah.
So like you made the Mark Wahlberg film Rockstar come to life for these people.
Yeah.
They're like,
Wow, I never thought about that.
That's true. That was an interesting movie, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I submit a video of me with the recorder, there's a chance.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good meme, too. It's like, what were they preparing us for in middle school?
I'm gonna
Everyone
start
playing the recorder.
I'm gonna start playing some Mean Spoons and just hope.
But that was
Spoons,
that was
yeah.
crazy. So you're talking about Tony Ann, who's like this savant piano player, and he used to do these covers of every song we released, and naturally, like someone sent it to us and was like, "You got to look at this kid," you know, just to reshare it, basically.
Yeah.
And which we did. And then we started to work towards, we were DJs, and then as our music changed and we wanted to challenge ourselves more and he started singing, we kind of were like, let's become like a proper band, you know, and perform our music properly. And, you know, at the beginning, we didn't really know how the best way to do that. So we're like, well, we probably need a really good piano player. You know what I mean? So, and this guy
looks good.
This guy looks
does
good. You know what I mean? So we messaged him and we're like, hey, I don't know what your life is like, but how would you like to
Would you like to be a
come
fucking
on
rock
tour?
star?
Dude,
Yeah.
What did he say? What did he say his life was like?
He was like, I'm not doing much.
He goes, he was going to Berklee College of Music, and he was like,
Oh, she's
he's like-
dope.
Yeah, and he's amazing. He's a classical pianist, and he was like, but honestly, like, I'm done here. I don't think there's any more they can teach me. I was like, okay.
Wow.
What can you teach me?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a great response. And then, like, what, days later, he's
then
here?
you know, like we were planning our thing, so it was a couple months in advance.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
basically, it was like moved to LA. First time we met was like in the practice room, like preparing for the tour, and it was just like, okay, cool. And like our drummer Matt was the same way. He was from Australia. He's had like more of a like live touring background,
Right.
but still like wasn't a part of a band or anything. And
Thank goodness for him.
Yeah, insanely talented. And we're just like, how would you like to come out and, you know, play drums for us? And he was getting like, I think a lot of like people were feeling, because he was starting to like, but you know, like those YouTube covers and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
he was really good.
Yeah.
And now he's just like full on. Tony, not that we still love Tony, he's not part of the band anymore because it like the position wasn't as necessary.
Well, and
Right.
there's nothing more you can teach him.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He's graduated from us too.
He honestly looked like a caged, like a tiger playing piano on tour with us, because like he's so good that he should just be like solo piano playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like a guy was like, just play, you know, like this basic melody that we create, and he's just like, you know, like
Fine, I can
Look-
do it.
yeah.
My eyes closed. I can figure this out.
Yeah.
When did you guys, obviously you've told the story of when you like formed many times, but like what were you, when you were playing like the colleges, like what other types of gigs were you doing, like that you're trying to you know, just get clout and get experience? Like I don't know what
Yeah,
that
yeah.
grind is like.
I mean, we DJ'd a lot of clubs in New York City where we originally started.
Gotcha.
Like you know, like
So
not
that's your
bad-
true roots, like where you started.
Yeah. And like you know, these are like bottle clubs, so they're not really there to see you. You know what I mean? It's a sort of thing where like you're playing music and the guy comes up and he's like, pick up the energy. You know what I mean? Or like,
Wow.
like Jay-Z's gonna be here. Like, go more classic Jay-Z. And you're like what were we talking? Like Reasonable Doubt or like Volume 2? You know what I mean? He's like, no, not that far back. Like,
And then he played Jay-Z, and then he comes up and he's like, you fucking idiot, Tiesto just walked in.
Yeah.
Play trance. Why aren't you playing trance?
so that was like the first couple years.
Were there moments like that when celebrities would walk in and you'd be like, oh, crap, there's Jay-Z. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Rick Astley's here.
but
Play together forever now.
Yeah, but it wasn't actually like fun, you know, because it was
Yeah.
like you weren't like an artist at all or a performer.
No, you had no
were
creative
You were
input, huh?
essentially like the iPad that like you know what I mean? That,
Yeah.
like everyone else got to, you know.
So how do you
it's
find
like-
to get your voice? And
Well, yeah, I mean, then when we started, you know, like it took a little while to find our sound and figure out what our direction was going to be. But I remember like we started remixing indie bands and, you know, people like Phoenix and Two Door Cinema Club and Daughter, and slowly but surely, like they started gaining a little traction on the internet. But it still wasn't like we were going to go to our show and play these songs because we're like, nobody's here for us. And then it like finally like one day we played a show and we didn't play any of our music, and someone was like, what the hell? Like, I came here to see you guys play, you know, your Dreaming remix or this. You guys didn't play anything of your own. And we're like, whoa, people are actually here to see our music now.
Yeah.
And that was like a very scary moment because it was like, I guess the next time we should do this. But like, what if there's no one there at the next one? And this was just like an anomaly of a person.
Hey, but you know what? It's that sort of self-awareness where you want to give people what they want, but at the same time do what you essentially got paid to do.
Sure.
Where it probably really helped you, because I imagine there might be someone that would come and be like, I'm playing all original hits.
Yeah.
Nothing like, and then everyone's just in the crowd like, yeah, we really want to hear the new Lil Jon song.
100%. I feel like it gave us a good backbone because like the show for us originally, since this is the way it started, was always just about creating the best party and atmosphere possible wherever we were playing. And then as the music started coming, it was like, okay, keep that vibe, but like, how do we insert our music in here and keep that energy and feeling up? And that's kind of been the red line even now to today's show, where it's like we're going to be playing 90% of our music, but the way we perform it, the edits, the remixes, the style, it's very like upbeat. It's not like you're going to come to our show and suddenly see like me and Drew at like a classical piano and him in like a tux. You know what I mean? Like, like slowing it down.
Why can't I wear a
That's not your
tux?
vibe.
Yeah, you can wear tux. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
this is where you find out you can't
We'll
wear a
put
tux.
some flannel on the tux, and
Trying to
then,
innovate here, people.
yeah, exactly. And I love that you guys think about that, because in that you have expanded to, like you said, you have a drummer. You've had pianists. I've seen you guys on your Instagram playing guitar, to where, because I've been to certain concerts where the hack joke of the DJ behind the thing just hitting the button. That's what the audience sees, and that's not what they want to see.
In my defense, that was my first bar mitzvah, and it was my bar mitzvah, and they told me I could play the music.
Did you have to play La Vida Loca 5 times in a row?
Yes. My mom loves Ricky Martin.
Yeah. You know what's fun is like the whole like roots of where we came from DJing has been really helpful, especially in Vegas.
Yeah.
We have 50
You got a residency
shows.
there.
We do 50
At the
shows
Wynn, right?
at the Wynn at XS.
It's insane.
And it's so fun, but that's like we have this live show that's very elaborate and expensive and fun and rewarding, that's barely based on our music, but every week we go to Vegas and we play for 2 hours, and we play all of our music, but we play so many fun like edits and like, you know, La Vida Loca and
It pops
number
in?
5 and dropping it. It's fun, you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's a fun time. We're lucky to have that.
How long does that show take to? So when you got that was what, a few years ago?
2
The
years
residency?
ago.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years ago at XS, and we played with Hakusen Group before that. So
That's
we've been
so
in Vegas for probably like 4 or 5 years.
Is it cool?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
great,
The
yeah.
Wynn is, to me, I mean, like, I don't know, it doesn't get better than that.
It's
Like,
amazing.
I went to
We're
that
so
hotel when
lucky
it
to be there.
opened, and it's like,
It's like a little
it
drool.
smells the best, dude.
Yeah.
Like, everything about it is just right, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The colors, the like,
Yeah.
there's like the like, oh, even the patrons. Like we used to, I mean, I don't want to shout him out, but the other casino we used to play at, just in case we ever go back there when no one cares about us. Like, you know, like the club itself was really fun, but like going through the casino was like a dark place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
did you ever go to that Sinatra restaurant?
yeah, Sinatra's was great.
Come on, it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the, like, we eat there so much that it's like, you know, like I can tell you the menu from any of these places.
That's
Yo, I had a
amazing.
dream. I kid you not. I just remember this. I had a dream last night where someone told me about this really nice restaurant that they had just been to at the Wynn and that we hadn't gone to. Like, that's how badly I want
Yeah,
there
just
to be
new
another
food.
restaurant there.
Yeah.
I had a dream where, like, some other, like, sophisticated couple
Yeah.
came in like, oh, we just ate here. I was like, where's that? At the Wynn.
You're like, what?
There's
Tell
this
me
spot
more.
where we haven't been.
Yeah.
You hear that, Wynn?
So anyway.
Robert, isn't it Robert Wynn, right? Isn't that the
Steve Wynn.
Steve Wynn.
Yeah.
Sounded like it should be Robert.
Jeffrey Wynn.
Jeffrey Wynn.
But Chris D'Elia came out to
Yeah,
one
I
of our
saw that.
shows, and he did his a podcast, a part of it about like his experience with us,
which was incredible.
which is cool to hear from like the second hand.
Fuck yeah.
of,
Also,
like-
and take that as a big compliment. Chris does not go anywhere.
yeah,
No.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I tried to get him to go to the zoo once because he used to do all these bits about animals. I was like, don't you want to go see the animals you talk
That's true.
about?
I
He's
just
like,
heard
I
him
have
do
no
a
interest in
dolphin
going
thing.
outside.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal that he went there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, the show looked, I mean, his videos were, they were bonkers. So like, how long is the process to put that show together with the edits and the pyrotechnics and everything that's happening?
It's kind of like a rolling thing because it's like you start with like you don't really lose music,
Yeah.
but you kind of figure out what works a little bit more, and then obviously new music comes out, and it's like I mean DJs and they're like we are like a big community of guys, so it's like here I made this, you know what I mean, and then you like it's almost like you trade.
Oh,
You're like,
dope.
oh, I'll send you this one, and then you hear other people doing it, and you're like, oh, I can make that, but I can do it better. And
Right.
we always add new music. I think what makes our show unique, obviously, is that we play a lot of our own music and perform it live, so you get like the live entertainer feel. Because like I know what you're saying about DJs, like people will be like, tell me about DJing. Like, what are you really doing up there? And I'm like, like it's some secret. I'm like, you know what I'm doing. Like, I'm pressing the button. You know, and
Hey,
like,
to be fair, I saw the video of you guys playing the launch pad on your Instagram.
you're
You're hitting a lot of fucking buttons.
Yeah. Saw that, yeah.
Okay, like it's not just
yeah, that's insane.
you don't just hit play.
No,
and
I
then
mean
just-
at our live show, I mean
Yeah.
I'm playing, 5 or 6 instruments. Drew's playing guitar and singing live.
my
Like,
God.
but like in Vegas, it's like, yeah, we are hitting play, and
but we
mixing.
DJ real quick, and like
Yeah.
it can get intense up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. What is it like
Yeah.
up there? Like, what's the experience like of that versus like an award show or a red carpet or something like that?
What's
Well, those are terrible.
Yeah. All right, bad example. What's it like being in line at Whole Foods versus being on stage? No, but you see like the crowd is going nuts,
well,
and you're
they're-
keeping up that energy the whole time, right?
Well, that's the thing. That's the pressure of Vegas. Is like everyone's there to party and have a good time, and some people are your diehard fans, and some people like have heard one song on the radio once,
Yeah.
and don't really know, and they're just there because that's a cool place to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which is cool, right? Then you're picking up new
and
fans that way.
Yeah, totally. It's a huge opportunity for us, and it's fun, and it's a challenge, and that's what's nice about it. Is like, okay, how are we gonna work this room so like people that like don't even fuck with us, they come through and they're like, okay, I can't lie, that was a good time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how you like embrace 50 shows a year in
Sure.
the same club.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
we're
like
your home.
you're
It makes
walking
it
in
fun.
there. So how many shows like during? We go for like weeks at a time.
Well,
Every
no, no,
weekend,
no.
basically.
Every weekend,
and then
gotcha.
2 times a weekend in the summer.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's a
summer's
lot.
bonkers. in
The
Vegas.
crazy I was like going to do Europe and like playing a show in like Hungary or something, and then being like, we got to be back for Encore Beach Club the next day, and then like a day later flying back to Europe.
Yeah.
that's
I
diesel.
saw the
Yeah.
I saw the Steve Aoki documentary.
Oh yeah, he does
and
it crazy.
Yeah.
It's I was about to ask you, like, is that kind of your schedule too, where you're constantly like, all right, so Monday we're in Denmark,
Yeah.
Thursday we're in Italy, but then we got to get back to Vegas for the
Right.
weekend.
That's literally the summer. There was 6
crap.
weeks this summer where we did either 3 shows in Europe
Yeah.
or on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And then flew back to Vegas for the weekend for 6 weeks in a row. So it was like either across the country or to
Yeah.
Europe every week.
But you're always happy because European food at airports sucks. So you're always just looking forward to getting back to the U.S.
Are there
They
ever
just don't have it
times
figured
where you
out.
just want to call up Steve Wynn and be like, not this weekend?
Yeah. Well, like half the time you're just like worried that you won't even because like you're counting. There's so many factors you have to rely on.
Sure.
People doing their job. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Everyone's got to do their job to get us back here with like 2 hours to spare.
Fuck.
And that like part like you look at our tour manager and he's like kind of low key freaking out the whole time.
yeah.
He looks 60, but he's 35.
Yeah, I guess he's sitting on the plane like, and you see him sweating. Like,
Yeah,
you're
like until
oh,
we
crap.
take off, it's just like but it's I mean it's like this is I feel like if anything you got to seize the moment right now, and
Sure.
you don't want to leave anything on the table, and it's just I feel like we've made those decisions where you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna like chill out this Sunday, let's not do that, and then you're like end up just doing nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you're
like, I
just
could've
like,
done a show.
I might have just done it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Like, what am I doing right now that's so awesome?
How do you guys take it easy? Like when you do get a little bit of downtime,
Oof.
or are you just in work mode and you're like for us, it's like you get conditioned after a while. to always be, writing and just be thinking in work mode and joke mode. So it's like, but even in your downtime, you like something will happen. You're like, all right, fuck, I'm gonna sit down and write for a little bit now because I've got the time and I feel like there's no distractions to do that. But do you vacay or do you go to?
I mean, they're like obviously things that we love. Like, I mean, we both love to surf. We love to
nice.
Like, go to ski mountains, and like that sort of thing. But like,
You're not afraid of sharks when you surf?
Oh, I totally am.
I'm totally afraid of sharks.
That is just like I feel like I feel like this year or 2018 in particular, like every 2 months I'd see a shark attack clip or a guy almost getting attacked. Or Kelly, wasn't that video of Kelly Slater?
It was a surfer at the World Cup in Huntington Beach where like the shark came up, like actually you see the fin go up behind him.
I've seen this.
Yeah.
I've seen this.
The guy gets out and he's just like, close call, but I'll be back next week. And I'm like, fucking what? That'd be a wrap on the day for me. Like when that guy ate that guy's face on bath salts in Florida, I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to Florida again.
Just roll that
There's
out.
plenty of places where people don't eat people.
I feel like we always have the luck too. Like it feels like it always happens. Like heading to Hawaii for like the one time a year.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it was a gnarly shark attack last week, but like that usually means there won't be one for a while.
That's one way to look at it.
Is that what it means? Like, did you catch it? 'Cause it's, you know what I mean? Like,
So the X Games, that'll be like half fun and half.
that'll be
work,
just all
right?
fun.
You're just going for
No, we're playing music, but it's
Hotel.
like that's like the,
The
means to the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you into action sports? Or are you gonna go not partake in the events, but like watch the events?
Yeah. I mean, those guys are amazing, and they live such cool lives.
Right?
Like they're all homies. They're like young dudes, and they're like early 20s, if that, and they're just like get to fucking go to these mountains, every weekend and compete with each other.
It's so nuts where like they will look at you guys and be like, that's the cool life, and then you'll look at them and be like, that's the cool life, and then like people look at comics and go, oh, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Like we're all obviously very thankful and very blessed we get to do what we do, but then at the same time we're looking around like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anthony Bourdain's life seemed pretty good.
Yeah,
that's
true.
you got to eat and travel. And
I definitely feel like
good.
I should have taken more time to get good at the toboggan because then I could. The X Games doesn't have a toboggan competition, but it's like they're always open. Was that?
That could have been your thing.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
or we do the 2-man toboggan. I got a heavy head.
Yeah.
Throw that.
They could
first,
just put
it
you
goes
in,
down.
or just put you in a tube or one of those like egg chairs, or the bubble boy things, and just put you down the hill.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Just like it's like the giant.
By the way,
hamster wheel.
there should be a dwarf X Games now that we're talking about
There
it.
really should be the dwarf X Games.
Is there not?
Guys, you feel like sponsoring this?
I mean, it wouldn't be a half.
Is
pipe.
there not?
Yeah.
What a great attitude.
Yeah, what a great attitude.
It wouldn't be a
I'm
half
upset.
pipe. It'd be a quarter pipe, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. It would still look just as impressive. Flying up, doing my thing.
Yeah.
It'd be great. You talked about how you love seeing like the hardcore dedicated fans, and obviously you've put some of them in your band. But are there any other? Because I've seen like Rockstar fans are just legendarily so dedicated, and they're willing to go to any lengths. Like, do you guys have like those crazy fan stories where like someone faked that they were in your crew and like showed up outside your hotel room?
Yeah,
or, like,
did you see that Peking Duck story where the guy changed their Wikipedia to include him in it? So when he went backstage, he was like, "Look, I'm in their page. Like, I don't have a pass, but like, that's me."
I mean, the
You know what I
Wikipedia.
your credentials is Wikipedia?
Yeah, and they let him
That
in.
can't be good.
They let him in.
Yeah, and then they like wrote about it. He like did like a post about it the day after, and then like the band was like applauded him because they were like they're
Well
like
done.
this crazy Australian band. So
Yeah,
they were, like,
yeah.
cool with it. But I was like, that's sick. You know what I mean? We don't have like we have a story we always lie about and make up when people ask that question.
Of course.
And
Okay.
and we've told it like 1,000 times.
Then don't.
Yeah. But no. But I don't like like I'm sure you guys have the same thing. It's like the question when it's like, yo, what was like your best joke you ever told or something?
Yeah, the
And
worst
it's like,
heckler or something.
yeah, and you're like immediately like go blank and you can't think of like any examples of that. Like we have a guy in New York. He's not like a bad person, but like he just knows where we are all the time. You know what I mean? And it doesn't. And what's annoying is that he'll take the photo right like in front of like our hotel,
Yo,
and then
Craig's-
we'll go to
Craig's
like
literally right there.
yeah. Sorry, man. Yeah. and then he'll show up at like the next place and be like, "Can I get a photo?" And you're like,
Oh,
"We just took a photo with you, man."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
But
and
that
then the
was
next
yesterday.
Yeah.
No, like literally hotel to
Yeah.
like a radio station to do promo. He's outside the hotel and then somehow gets to the radio station before us and then asks for another photo.
And he like guilts you. He's like,
Like, it was
Alex,
15 minutes ago.
He's like, can I take the photo? And you're just like, like like a
I know,
puppy
it's
dog
so-
eyes, like
of
do I just
course.
can I get one? And you're just
And
like
it's so quick
yeah.
and easy, but you're like, there's got to be rules.
And of course
I
we'll
guess.
take it, but like come on, we just took the photo. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
dude.
Like I don't understand. I'm wearing the exact same thing. Like
Maybe he's
nothing's
got some
changed.
long going bet
Yeah.
where he's like, somebody at some point, like at some Cheesecake Factory date, was like, I bet you can't get the Chainsmokers to take pictures with you at every stop
Yeah, and he asked-
that you see them. He's
and
like,
he-
you're on.
And he asks for a hug too every
Well,
time.
that's-
He's like, and then
that's
can I get a
overboard.
hug?
That's
Like, can
sweet.
I
Get the pic.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Hugs are very particular.
He's gonna listen to this.
He's
I know
actually
he
here.
will.
He
I
drove
know
with
you're
us.
out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. He
He's
drove
here.
here. He drove us.
Yeah.
In fact, he knew that we were going to be
Nice
the ones
guy.
interviewing
Hugged
you.
us the whole time.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
dangerous. How do you pick people to collaborate with? Because I mean, obviously, so many great tunes that have great people featured with you guys. Like, how is there is it the same thing with the way you found some members of the band, where you're looking online, or do people bring them to you and say, hey, you should check out this person? That like Halsey, like how'd that come about?
I mean, it's always different.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it is as simple as like seeing someone like Kelsey Ballerini has
Yeah.
been saying she was like a fan of ours for a while.
Dope.
And we were a fan of hers. And then when we came up and wrote this song, and we were like, why don't we hit up Kelsey? She wants to do it with us.
Right.
Halsey, also we've been huge fans of hers, and I think both of us were kind of like percolating under the radar. And
Yeah.
she's an amazing singer, and we both felt like the song really lent itself to her style of just artistry, I guess.
Yeah.
And so she did, like we sent her the song, she was down and came in and sung it, and became a huge hit, which is great because she was like the perfect.
Yeah,
person
I mean,
for that
everything came
song.
together for that, right?
Chris Martin's like a completely different one. Like our managers have been talking, like literally a prayer. You know what I mean? Being
Oh,
like,
really?
hey, would that ever, boys, would they ever want to get together? And it's like, sure, we're pretty busy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that
Being
response.
Coldplay and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
being
yeah.
Coldplay. And you're like, of course. Just if anything ever changes,
We're
And-
here.
Yeah, and then I guess like a month later, Chris. The manager had mentioned this, and he was like, I love those guys. I love their song.
Whoa.
We play their music, before we go on stage.
Whoa.
Let's get together. And like we dropped like everything we had going on
Yes. Yeah, you
to
have
make
to.
that happen. And it was
Do you
totally
ever,
worth it.
Do you ever have more nerves like going into like where you're pitching Halsey versus Chris Martin? Like, were you hoping
Well,
like if she sent back like, nah, I'm not into it? Were you like, did you have more nerves going into that versus?
What's crazy is every song has a completely different story about how it
Right.
came about, and that song was actually something just like this was written with Chris the first day we met.
Oh, shit.
So you don't know what to expect, so you
Yeah.
just got to pull up and be like, okay, I'm gonna come with some ideas, but also be ready to write and also be ready to like play instruments or be able to like just produce or do drums. You have no idea like what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And that day, I remember we got there and we was in this beautiful studio in Malibu, which we were working on like a closet studio
We
at the
had this
time.
place.
Yeah, you were telling me that. Yeah.
And we were just blown away, and it was very over the top for us. And
Intimidating? Does it make you raise your game, or is it more pressure filled because you see this?
I mean, we're very intimidated. Not gonna lie. I
Yeah.
mean, Coldplay musically, their sound has been such an inspiration to our sound, and just the chords and melodies that they use. And Chris Martin is Chris Martin, and I remember he walked in, and we were, just, he's talking in his very nice, soft British voice.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and you're like, oh my god,
You're
so
you're
beautiful.
just like trying to keep it together.
Yeah, and actually I think we talked for a very short amount of time, like 5-10 minutes, and then he was like, so let's go. And I remember we opened up our laptop and we were playing him ideas, playing stuff on the piano. We eventually got on this one idea that was it was good, and he was into it, and so he's like, all right, let me sit and write. And so he sat and for about an hour with the headphones on, just like on his phone writing. And he was like, I've kind of hit a roadblock. I'm gonna go like pick up my kids, and you guys keep working on the track. I'll be back. We're like, all right. So he left.
What if he never came back?
That's
Yeah, go through your
totally,
head.
of course.
You're like, this is out. This is like a chick on a date being like, my friend just called. She's in the hospital.
Yeah, we gotta go. Which reminds me, we have a funny story about someone getting out of a session after.
Yes,
this.
put a pin in there.
Put in the queue. And he.
So now you're sitting there like, all right,
What do we do?
We'll pick up where.
We have dinner. He comes back 2 hours later. We're like, hey, and it kind of the vibe was like gone, and we're like, okay, like it's all good. Like we got something with him. This will be cool. And then he was like, we were waiting to leave, and we were in Malibu, so it took a while to get an Uber. And he was like, you want to play me some records off the new Chainsmokers album, this was before our albums Memories Do Not Open came out. And I played him The One, Paris, and I think Bloodstream. And you could see he was like, fuck, like we gotta get a record. And he goes, is there anything else that you have that might work? And I played this session that was like eventually became something just like this. And he was like, that's it, let's go. Canceled the Uber, plugged in. I've never seen a song written like this. Plugged his mic into the PA and danced around like the living room. It's like, 11 at night at this point. Yeah. Just like muttering the melody to himself, and eventually had words. And he wrote literally the entire thing, just dancing around in 2 hours. And
That's
then
crazy.
We got back and we got in the car after that, and we were like, let's fucking go.
Oh my god, dude!
Go. It was like because like the first thing you're like. If something doesn't happen in one instance, it's really hard to finish it at a later date or get someone to get.
It usually
back
doesn't, right? You usually got to come back.
Usually it
artificially create those moments.
Unless you have Chris Martin dancing around in circles, coming up with melodies, then I guess.
I mean, most people I write songs with just sit there and write, and he mumbled or they go in the booth. There's a lot of hip hop guys that go in the booth and they'll do one line. And then they'll do the next line, and then the next. But we track it all. He sat there and just like mumbled it to himself until he had like the whole thing.
And then it's also in those moments where you see him, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why you're Coldplay.
Yeah,
100%.
That's why you're successful and doing all the things that you're doing. I know you just did a collaboration with Blink-182.
Oh yeah, they just came over here. We were in the studio. We wrote a couple of songs together.
Is that like do you call them? Do they call you?
That we've been trying to get in the studio with them for a while because they were like they're a huge inspiration of ours. Probably those two bands, bigger more so than anything, Coldplay and Blink. And it was like I think we share the same agent at CA or someone like that. And it was one of those things where it was like, oh, we should always get the guys together. You know what I mean? But it's like I think we were nervous because we're like, how do we work? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, with Chris Martin, we didn't have an idea, but you're kind of like, okay, if we get him to sing. Yeah, it's a big, you know what I mean. You have a clear-eyed vision for this, and we're like
styles are similar. Like you can see the music working, but like with alternative rock, punk rock,
it's just a little bit more challenging, I guess. Yeah. And they'd sent us a couple of songs, demos that were really solid, but you were just like, I feel like we should just get in the room. And they're like, they have families and they tour a lot, and they were just like. No one was in a rush on either side. We're like, it will happen when it happens. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And finally, it was like. We set the date, got together, and we just wrote like this awesome song and over the course of the day. And they're really humble, chill guys, which was really awesome to see. And it's crazy because they're just as big as any band in the world, successful. And to write like a Chainsmokers Blink song was really cool. And I think we arrived at a really great balance of it.
I mean, lyrically, Blink-182 has been a huge inspiration to us because they always say things super direct, and the way that it happened, and they put you in the place. They like tell you about what the room looked like they were in, what the car, what she was wearing.
Yeah, they paint the picture for sure.
Totally, and I feel like that's been a big part of where we've come from with our songwriting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when can we expect that song to come out, or do you guys know?
Oof, that's a complicated question.
Jesus, Katie Couric.
They're down.
Listen, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to get them to cry later. Okay, it's gonna happen. It's the hard hitting journalism.
But it's good because like at the end of the day, like all you want is someone to be excited. So like when we left the Chris Martin session, like he was pumped and he was like ready to get back in and like finish the song.
Yeah.
Where like a lot of times that's not the case. It's like you get a song and sometimes you'll both be like that was sick, but then you never even follow up. It's like this unwritten like. I didn't enjoy that as much as you think, and like we're just like, the same way. And you're just like, so you just kind of, it's like a bad date.
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy that.
You don't need to like, you don't need to like confirm that it was a bad date. You just stop talking to each other.
It's like, all right, so we agree to go our separate ways. Fine.
Yeah.
Is the pre-record hang necessary like before you even get going on a track? Like with Chris, like you guys just said you met that day and then started jamming, right? There was, but was there any attempt to be like, yo, let's go do some putt-putt or like fucking go to hit a Denny's late night
I don't feel like people don't have like the luxury of that time anymore. But like we like to get together and just like talk. It's not like get together and immediately jump in. We're down to like catch up, talk about shit. But like problem is you run the risk of like meeting someone that you're really like-minded with, like Ryan Tedder.
Oh my God.
And
we've done multiple sessions with him and have not written one lyric because we just talk for like 10 hours.
Yeah,
and we're like, well.
Yeah, I would have done that with Chris Martin. I would have been like, dude, I cry in the shower listening to Yellow all the time in high school. Right? Oh, Chris, where'd you go, man?
He'd be like, that's nice.
That's
nice. Like, that's lovely.
Who was the person that pieced out on you?
Oh, I was just about to bring that story back up.
Okay. Aloe Black. It's fine.
We were doing a session with him, and he's a great songwriter and has an amazing voice. And I think the vibes were just off. And he was like, I gotta go. And we're like, all right, like, what's going on? He's like, so my wife just called and said that there are bees coming out of the fireplace, and I don't know if my kids are allergic or not. And I'm like,
wow.
Are your kids allergic? He's like, oh, I don't know, but they could be. And I was like, great. So she can't handle the situation? And he's like, no, I got to go. I got to go home and help her out. There are bees coming out of the fire.
I was
That
outside
is-
on a call, and I
like-
remember just seeing him run out and then get in his car, and I was like, what the hell?
That's one of those creative
came back in the
excuses
studio,
where
yeah.
you're like, I can't say that there's probably not bees coming out of
Yeah,
the
Like, I can't say that your kids aren't allergic.
Yeah, you know, like
Yeah.
you kind of got me in a classic.
It was definitely, and we've
Who's
seen
it?
him.
What's
We've
it?
seen him since then, and like at dinner and stuff. I mean, he's a cool dude, but like,
And for all we know, it could be a true story.
yeah.
So we don't know still.
Yeah,
That's
No,
like
we should ask him. Maybe he'll see
yeah.
this. And we
That's
can
like the
discuss.
clue of excuses.
he
You
probably
know,
wouldn't
it's
even
like-
remember. This
Yeah,
lie.
with the
That's the problem with
bees
lies.
coming out of the
You gotta remember
fireplace.
them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, although it would be amazing if he did like act like he didn't remember, like, oh, bees in the fire. But yeah, I think that. When was that again? When did I mention that? It's like, no, dude, that's never happened unless it
Yeah.
was in the movie The Ring. So were
Unless
you?
that's
Is
just
your, is your life based on that movie?
excuse. Yeah, that you just pull up every
Well, that
time.
that could be a great movie that you guys do through your production company.
Yeah.
Kick the Habit.
I like that transition. There.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well done.
you're
Dude.
professional.
Yeah. I get inspired by cool
Goddamn
pants.
professional.
We could have been
baby.
talking about anything. It's
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
dildo.
Yeah, so there's a great dildo movie you could make. Matt Lauer could star in it. But no, why'd you guys start a production company? Kick the Habit, and now your first movie is
Yeah,
based off Paris, right?
Well, hopefully. I mean, yes, it's in production.
That's in the works.
Yeah.
That's dope.
But yeah, I mean, so Dan, who you
Yes.
guys know, is a good friend of ours. We went to school with Drew. We've known each other for a very long time, and that's how I met Dan, obviously. And me and Drew, have both individually been very interested in TV and film, just as something you enjoy. Really, I don't think it was like so much a reality if you'd asked us this like 4 years ago. But Dan, was really passionate about this sort of thing, and we kept getting, aside from Dan, like emails being like, hey, would you guys like to be involved in this movie from a musical perspective and stuff? And, we didn't really feel like we were ready. But then as time went on, Dan kind of was like, listen, we have the perfect guy. We have a guy that's passionate about it. We trust, who's really dedicated to this. We don't get involved in things unless we can put ourselves into it 100%.
Yeah.
And it just felt like the right time because we often look for our creativity outside of music, and TV and film is like a great place to take a break from music, but still get a lot of inspiration from and be creative, and then go back to music. So it felt like this great marriage between something that we were already doing and something that our friend Dan could help run for us.
Dope.
And obviously it's still pretty new and considered to all the studios that are out there and production houses, but we're pretty psyched about the Paris movie, and we got a lot of other things under development, and it's a really cool thing to I'm reading 200 emails about this song and this song and this, and then you read an email about a potential piece of IP that we might want to buy,
Yeah.
and that's and it's really exciting. So
Well, your videos are cinematic as fuck, so it's like a natural transition for sure.
yeah, and that definitely leads led us into that direction too, working on music videos and seeing how fun that can be and how challenging. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. We're definitely really passionate about it. I think it's probably, as you find with anything, it's you've got to find your way, what you're honing in on. What do you want your message to be? What do you want your studio production company to be known for?
Yeah.
Because you can't. I guess some people can do everything, but I think right now it's the process of finding the projects we're really passionate about, and working hard on those ones and doing a good job on those versus doing 100 things, because we get all sorts of crazy offers.
Of course,
it's for movies. You're that would be sick, but you're but is this
brand,
really
right?
what we should be doing right now?
Is your brand more dramas? Do you want to do serious black and white film noir stuff?
Ooh,
do you want to
that'd
do
be cool.
Do you want to do comedies?
Yeah, I think. We want to do everything, but in the beginning, at its inception, we have to be careful to do stuff that's very tied to us and kind of where we are right now, which is music.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very dry sense of humor, and we're very sarcastic, and that kind of tone about millennial narcissism that we write about in our songs a lot is something that I think will make its way into the narrative of some of the film projects that we work on.
Well, I want to come back to that dildo movie because I have a small pitch, a synopsis. It's actually a dildo heist movie. It's called Jackhammer, and it's Harrison Ford plays a guy named Jack Hammer, and he's
It's really on the nose.
his wife leaves him, and but she leaves the dildo that she cheated on him with, and he tries to rob the bank that she works at
That's
with the
tight.
dildo.
The dildo.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
spitballing here, but we can come up with this in
I
a meeting.
actually
but-
saw Harrison Ford a couple weeks ago.
Shut up.
Yeah. I
See,
didn't
it's
know
meant
what
to
do.
be.
Yeah.
Did he have a dildo with him?
yeah. But he was like one of those. I mean, it's so funny because like I don't know, like I don't often recognize people, probably because I can't see that well. But but he walked past me in the restaurant, and I was like, oh shit, that's Harrison Ford, and I was like, that's cool. You know what I mean?
That's a good one to see.
That's a great one.
But then I
Yeah.
was like in my head, I was like, I should say hi. He was walking in the bathroom, and I was like, I should follow him in there. And
Well,
We've
say
done
what's
that.
up.
we've actually, I'd say that's weird, but we actually did that to Chris Pratt.
Yeah?
To where we followed him into a bathroom.
How'd it go?
We talked and and
Brad,
we
we're
exchanged.
friends now.
Did you wait for him to finish, or
I
did you?
mean,
We're
that-
such good friends. He never returns my text.
Yeah.
But that's only because he's super busy.
And he's so busy, but he did promise to use me as a dildo one time. It was weird. It was really weird.
He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, he was dope, dude. Well,
was.
you know, him and I are both from Seattle, and so we like riffed on that for a minute, and then Brad, what did you say to him in the bathroom?
Oh, because I went to the bathroom and he was at one of the regular size urinals, and then there was another dude there who was taking the dwarf urinal.
Yeah.
Never take the fucking dwarf urinal.
Yeah, 7 years
that's
bad
my
luck.
passion project. Some people are like, save the whales. Some people are like, global warming. I'm like, don't take the fucking dwarf urinal. That's mine.
Yeah.
So I stood behind the guy and said, just your luck. You're pissing in the midget urinal, and then the midget shows up. The guy looks back. He's kind of in horror, trying to frantically zip up. Chris just busts out laughing, and he's like, all right, I can be friends with this tiny man.
That's a great. Yeah,
That
I mean,
is awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, but I don't know, like, it's like, wow, you see Harrison Ford, it's like, what do you say to him?
well, that's what I was thinking. Like, he's like old school famous. You know what I mean? If
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes any sense. So it's like, I don't know if he plays by the rules that like there's no such thing as privacy anymore. You can be
sure.
interrupted and bothered at any time. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, do you go up to, you know what I mean? And
I think
say,
it's all intention, right? Like, you guys are chill dudes. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the bathroom meet and greet is usually like a weird spot. Like,
100%.
I'm not even like on board with urinal small talk because I'm like, dude, we can talk about this when our dicks aren't hanging out of
Yeah.
our pants, you know? But
Like in 15 seconds.
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be right.
Are there certain people or like you'll obviously probably like take? You said you're getting like scripts and offers for things already. Like, are there certain people that you're like, oh, I hope we get to sit down with them, or we're reaching out to try to?
There's so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, we've sat down with some really awesome people already. I feel like the people that are really exciting are like, it's just this like newer generation of writers and producers that like we're meeting through Dan and stuff that
Yeah.
are like, I don't know, for us we've always found talent that when it comes to singers and stuff that are like hungry and new and like on the verge, and you know, there's just like a desire from them to like do whatever it takes and,
Yeah.
and put it all on the line, and working with like artists like that and writers just gets us really excited, I guess. That said, like, you know, we've been really lucky to sit down with people like Brian Grazer and like,
No
you know,
shit.
and like pick their brain, and I mean, and they're so,
To give you good advice.
yeah, I mean, they're so badass. It's like,
He is.
you know, it's
He's a
insane.
fucking gangster,
You
isn't
just
he?
walk down their hall, you're like, you literally, my whole childhood is like,
You made it.
yeah.
Yeah.
made
He's
my-
like, yeah, the Grinch actually stayed with me for 6 months while we were filming. You're like, that wasn't a guy. He's like, you don't know the movies.
And
Anyway,
they usually
yeah.
drop like that one gem of knowledge, like, you know what I mean? Like, they say a lot of great things, but like the one thing about, you know, that to direct you in your path, because like, you know, they're like, how do you pick what you do when you can do everything?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's kind of like the things you learn from them.
Is it a different muscle that you guys find, like music versus, I mean, production company producing, starting to try to field projects? Like, is it, or you feel like the same grind that's in you for music is there for movie making and stuff?
There's a lot of things that are very the same. In terms of like creating something that's like, you know, especially when we like put together shows, it's like kind of finishing the song, because we write songs but we're also producers, so that means that we make the music, and like the final record is something that we create.
It's always been that way, yeah.
It's always been
For
that
you
way.
guys, yeah.
But a lot of times, a lot of other artists, they'll write songs and then they'll send it to a producer and they'll kind of finish the track. And I feel like finishing like a track for us is like kind of packaging a movie. You're like, okay, this is a great concept, but like, how do we make it like perfect
Yeah.
and palatable, and like selling it to people that like selling it to someone that will get it made? How do we get it out there, you know? And so that's one of the things that I find that's pretty congruent with writing music. And And I'm sure there'll be a ton more. I mean, we haven't even we've sold our first project, but it's now in development, so we haven't actually. It's not done yet. Which,
Yeah.
You know, there's a way more hurdles working on film. I'm sure you guys
And also,
know about.
it's like, you know, we listen to a song. It takes us 4 minutes to listen through a song, and then we make our notes. You know what I mean? And then listen to it again and again and again and again. But like with a movie, it's like, okay, now read this 120-page script again.
For sure.
We changed a couple things in it, and you're like, shit, this is a lot of work.
The back and forth is definitely a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of work, and it's not like unexpected work. It's just like a totally different type of art.
Yeah,
and it's really fulfilling doing it, and it, you know, in a different way, because you know you're imagining it like very visually and like thinking about it in terms of like how you act in this situation or what you'd expect from it, and then writing your hopefully, you know, thoughtful notes that help the writer get to the next phase. But, you know, it's like different. I mean, we're working on scoring this film right now.
Oh, nice.
And
I was going to say that feels like the next move.
Yeah, and we just sat down and like went through like every minute of the film where we thought there should be music and what would be a good song, and gave options, and then where we should put our music. And it's like, cool. So what's next? You're like, well, we got to watch it again. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, damn. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm going to probably seen this movie like 40 times.
Have you guys ever...
Hope it's a good movie.
Yeah, it is good.
Have you guys ever scored podcasts or made theme songs for podcasts?
Yeah.
And how much do you charge?
That would be funny.
Yeah.
I watched that, listen to the podcast Serial, you know, that Serial one, and she has the funniest music in it. It's like, boop, 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 boop. It's like, next week. Like, we'll find out if I'm
It's like, you're so happy, but people are getting murdered here. Like,
exactly.
I don't get the trend.
Joe, I heard you say in an interview about, and just asking about like the creating of a song, but you were telling the guy that like you'd spent an hour like just fucking with a bunch, like making a bunch of sounds just like to try to find, like as you were building the track, and I was like, dude, I can't even wrap my head around how you guys create any given like what is it? Is it different from track to track or?
Well, I think like I mean, that idea I got from Timbaland. Timbaland used to do that over every track, and Timbaland's like, I was just telling Craig, this is funny you brought it up, or but like Timbaland, like I feel like we never get compared like as we should. And he's the OG, but like he's actually a huge musical influence on like our beats, and that's like something like I'll hear something from Timbaland or any other artist and be like, I love the vibe of that. Like, let me try to make my version of it. And it sounds really nothing like Timbaland. I hope maybe that's why no one's drawn the comparison. But
you got you got to get Timbaland to come and do the clicks.
Yeah, but like, you know, you take little tricks from here and you're like, that was cool. How do I try and do that? Yeah. And you're never going to do it exactly like that person did it.
Right.
But then somewhere in there you find your own sound.
Love that. You guys.
Real quick. What's the weirdest noise you've made where you're like, oh God, that can't be in the song?
We put a poo hitting a toilet.
See, that's why I said, hold up, Brad.
And now I'm thankful that I did.
Wait a minute. What song is that in?
It's in
the one.
It's in the one.
But it's like reversed, and a lot of reverb put on it.
It's actually a poo coming out of a toilet back into someone's butt.
Well, that's fucking mind-blowing. And there's the opening scene for Jack Hammer.
Yeah. I don't think it made the fun. Did it make the fun? No, I think
we 100% left it in
there.
Oh my God.
So here's the thing.
Do you get to hear the person go, who?
Yeah. Whose job was it to poo? Whose job was it to hold the microphone?
But it's funny because we couldn't. I remember like being like, we can't. Like usually that's a funny bit of information to reveal or something like during interviews about the album.
Hell yeah.
But you're like, we can't let them know this because they'll just use this against us.
No way.
Like, not only did they use shit in their music, like their music is literally
that's
shit.
Art.
Dude.
But see, you said it already, so it's like the Eminem scene from
8 Mile.
8 Mile. Yeah. He took the bullets out of the gun, so you're good.
Yeah.
Also, that's straight up magic. I feel like at
whose
some point,
idea was that?
At some point in Vegas, Copperfield's going to come over and be like, hey, how'd you guys do that shit in the butt trick? Because I'm looking for a new closer. Wait, how did? Yeah.
Who's what was that one person like at 4 o'clock in the morning, drunk as hell?
No, it was someone. One of us had recorded our shits already.
I like how you say one of us. It's like only one of us has flannel on their jeans. We know who it was.
I honestly think Swivel's like, yo, I just want to let you guys know I have these sounds that I created. That
these sounds.
Remember that we did this interview one time in Sweden, and this kid pulled up with a laptop, and so there's like a MIDI controller, is like a keyboard that can play like any sound.
Stay on the mic.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. Sorry. And he had basically, instead of a piano, he had recorded his farts and put them in this sampler, and he made me like play and sing Closer over
Swedish farts?
Over Swedish farts, yeah.
Oh,
Dude, sometimes life is so fucking beautiful, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's the next remix. You have to
And I
release
remember like
that
the label
version.
who sets up these things was just like,
Yeah.
We were like,
You know what I mean?
no,
Like-
this is the press we like to do.
Yeah.
This is different.
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, and good on you guys for being like, when the guy comes in and goes, listen, I recorded the splashes of my poo going to the toilet. You guys are like, I'm listening.
yeah, I'm listening. Interesting.
You want to hear more. And as a producer, that kind of has to be a weird thing where, hey, we always are walking around and we'll find jokes in anything. Like, you could hear a poo going into a water, go, wait. Somebody get
I will
that.
say that
That's
moment
important.
It hasn't happened yet where I've been like,
So you're not like walking around, a guy's on a skateboard, he falls and his skull like bounced off the pavement. You're like, wait, can you do that again? But like that was a great sound.
Yeah, it's like some dog blood boys noise move right there.
seriously.
But speaking of your like writing process, like, is there, you know, how some artists like to go away to like cabins and like, you know, just get away? Like, is there a like track for track or album for album? Is there like, do you guys set up and go, all right, let's like do it all here, or let's go to one spot, or let's go back to New York and like where we and find that old basement we did it in? Is there?
Yeah. I feel like we've like always toyed around with that idea, but like it's not really how we release music.
Yeah.
Like we're not making like the full album
Right.
anymore. So it'd be cool. Like I think it's like, oh, let's go, you know, to New York, and then maybe that would be like cool to be there for, you know, a week to work on whatever the next song is.
Yeah.
Give inspiration, but it's definitely not like the Beatles where it's like, let's go to like Cyprus or something
Right, for a
like
month or so.
a month
Yeah.
and create the next album. But I know a lot of artists do that. I think we're just
we just
like,
have all our stuff here.
yeah, all of our stuff's here, and I think we're like, we just don't have time, and we also like get bored of places, you know what I mean? So it's like we like to like move around a lot, you know, not just be like, let's just go to this one place for you know 6 weeks.
Will you ever go out of your way to write a song or start one just for the story, like being like on a private plane to some country or like in a bathroom, like some place where you like you start have a nugget of an idea and you're like just to be like, hey man, this song was written actually at a at a quiz
well,
night.
actually, Paris was. I remember I was like, we played a show in. Actually, Paris was written in Stockholm, and we played a show in Stockholm, and we went to the studio after the show.
Yeah.
And we were partying with a bunch of really amazing songwriters, and there's so many in Sweden, and I remember I was in the bathroom and I was trying to think of lyrics, and I was like, we were staying in Paris, to get away from your parents, and I was like, that's a weird line. And then went downstairs and wrote the whole first verse and hook of Paris.
shit.
All you need to do to have
No
a hit
piss.
record is
Yeah.
take a dump in Stockholm,
Right.
And you'll come up with a fantastic lyric.
Boom.
There's your tips,
How
kids.
often does that happen where you will get something that quick and go, oh, that's dope, that should definitely be, or do you
Well,
question it, or
I gotta
you trust yourself after a while, right?
Yeah, and you learn to trust like your friends and your team and stuff. And we really trust Rob Stringer, who's the head of Sony Music now.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll say a lot of like the music people that we've met have been kind of phony, but there's some people that really fucking get it, and he's one of them.
Dope.
And I remember we came in and we played Rob, and this was after Closer, so we had to like come with something, you know, good.
Yeah, that blew. I
Uh-huh.
mean, was that like overwhelming how big that tune was, or was it just all awesome?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, especially like, and it gets crazier and crazier that when you look back at it and you're like, oh my god, like that thing, and you're like putting out other music that doesn't perform like that, and you're like, holy crap, that was a moment.
Yeah, like
chasing that song.
like
Yeah, not
hundreds
really.
of millions of like views. I mean, it's insane. You know,
It's
streams,
wild.
yeah.
And I'm lucky to have that moment, but I don't think you can try to recreate it.
No, it just
You know?
it kind of happens.
It just happens,
It
and
has
you
to
gotta do
happen,
your thing,
or it
and-
doesn't. But
Right.
yeah, you can't sit down and be like, all right, today we're writing Closer,
Totally.
part 2,
because we didn't intend for that to become.
Everyone
the
else tries to do
biggest
that
song.
when they come in and write with us. Closer today.
I don't know. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
Do you get reached out to by now, or when that song hit, were there people that like that you looked up to that were like, man, fucking that song was like unbelievable, and you're like, oh shit, these guys listen to our music?
I mean, that's like probably how we got in the studio with Coldplay.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, Bono, we got in touch with.
What?
Yeah.
Through what?
Sting-
Email?
Sting. No, we've hung out with Bono a couple times.
What?
Yeah.
Why didn't we open with that?
Yeah, right?
He's
Did-
the man. I mean,
He
he
is
actually
great.
is a fucking like one of those dudes that like immediately puts you at like rest, And
Yeah.
you're just like, I feel like I'm hanging out with my homie right now.
Yeah.
So
He has so many good stories,
like
and he's
what?
so charismatic. And
He's lived a life. I mean, like done
yeah,
everything.
The guy's done everything. I was briefly on a radio show in San Francisco, and I got to interview Bono, which was
Sick.
madness because I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck can I ask this guy that he hasn't been asked before? He's done a trillion interviews, and as soon as he got on the phone with us, he's talking like we've been hanging out for years.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's
he has that superpower.
yeah, that's why you're the front man of the biggest band in the world. It's
Yeah.
like you just are able to do that.
Did he give you any advice, or do you ask for it when you get a chance to talk to him?
Tons of advice, but
Yeah.
it's actually like we called them and we're like with the preface, we're like, hey, can we call you and have a conversation? And then we want to pick pieces of the conversation to like use potentially as an intro to one of the songs on the album. And he was like, sure, sounds good. And in return, we I forgot, we gave him like a piece of some music we did or something.
Oh yeah, we played on one of the records.
But he was like, sure, no problem. And like we already knew that like you don't have a conversation with him and something not important be said.
Yeah.
So we weren't like really too concerned about like the topic. We're just like, let's just get on the phone, give us 15 minutes, and that's all we need. And there was like 40 pieces of thing, and we chopped it up, put it on the album. And it's funny because we're like, this is so sick. Like someone's definitely gonna notice this. Nobody noticed it. It was like unbelievable. No one was like, "Who is this Irish guy speaking before this song?" And I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like even like really like popular music outlet like New York Times music section, Pitchfork, you know what I mean? And like maybe they shouldn't care. I don't know, but it was like like it shocked me because I was like, wow, it was so cool what he said, and it was like led into this great song. And no one cared.
That's so weird that like, and then you listen to a guy like Bono just talk casually, and then you listen to a guy like Bruce Springsteen just talk in an interview. You're like, oh, you talk in lyrics.
Yeah, totally.
Like you like you're like, how did you write that song? You're like, oh, you probably just talked for a while, and it just came out like that because you're talking in metaphor.
On the streets of Philadelphia, it was like, there's a song.
Yeah,
So true.
madness.
Is there a moment where you guys, like with comics, you just have to get reps to get that experience to get to a point to where you like trust that when you think of something, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to take that to the stage tonight because I think there's something there and enough to build on. Like when does that moment happen for you?
I mean, that's the only thing that you can use to like guide you is like remember the moments when like you felt a certain type of way about a sound or a lyric or whatever, and then
try to access that again.
Yeah, and like that that's a recurring feeling that you have to be like, ooh, yeah, I really fuck with this. Like we need to like push further or bring like this needs to be a thing.
Because I can imagine you can go in the studio right when you're starting over and you're like, fuck, like what do we do? Like how to, just building from scratch.
Totally. And you never know where it's gonna come from. Like inspiration, cultivating your creativity, I always say, is like the hardest thing to possibly do.
What? Say that again.
Cultivating your creativity is like the hardest thing to do as an artist. Like, and remembering like, I look at these guys that have been in bands for like 30 years, and I'm like, how do you guys still like know like what's dope? And it has to be that one thing, because the sound of music and their sound and what's popular has changed so many times. I'm like, how do you like know when you got something still,
Yeah, there was a time Chumbawamba was on top of the world.
What a confusing time
What
that
a
was.
confusing time, but a great time. The economy was better.
Yesterday.
You were what?
We were just talking about Chumbawamba.
They said talking with them.
You're like, well, fly them out here. Let's make it happen.
But yeah, I mean that's so true. I mean those trends in music and like it's a scary thing, and I think that's like also partially why we are lucky to get in the studio with some of the people we do because they're like interested in getting a taste of like a different generation of music listeners that we're more maybe in tune with than they feel like they are.
Yeah.
But I feel like so much of this is just mental. You know what I mean? And it's like right now hip hop is the ruler of the music airwaves, and it's amazing. And like I think like probably some artists are discouraged by that aren't hip hop artists. But it's like, doesn't mean people aren't listening to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think you just gotta persevere. And like one thing we're always very mindful of is we don't chase trends.
You don't.
We're like very adamant about that.
You try to not like listen too much to what's.
I mean, we'll listen to everything and be influenced by everything.
Yeah.
But it's like we won't be like, whoa, like this,
Seems like
Post
that's
Malone
working.
song
Yeah.
we should make it a song that sounds exactly like.
So
this.
we're not going to see a Chainsmokers mumble rap.
Not yet. And we're not getting face tats either. So
I mean, I think you could. It's funny that can kind of parlay into this question, which I love to ask people. Did you have a first sort of crazy rock star purchase where you're like, holy crap, I got a check for X amount of dollars. Like I'm gonna go get Charlie Conway's hockey stick from D2 the Mighty Ducks.
Wow. Is that still available?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Josh Jackson, we know you're a fan. Is he? I don't know, but you can give me that stick. No, but like, did you have like a first major rock star purchase?
We're so boring about
Yeah.
this.
I mean, I got like a dog. You know, like that's like,
Well, there you.
that's
there.
like actively like having a kid.
You
know what I mean?
bought
'Cause
you
you're like-
bought a friend.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's a rock
What
star
kind of dog?
purchase.
Golden Retriever.
Nice.
Yeah,
Dope.
they're great.
Classic.
Classic dog. Classic dog.
Wasn't that
Classic
the
white
dog in
man dog.
Homeward Bound? Was a golden retriever,
Yeah,
right?
Shadow.
Homeward Shadow.
Bound.
Yeah.
My
Nice
dude.
one.
Dude, tequila and Homeward Bound.
That's what I specialize
Dudes,
in.
friendship. That's
Yeah,
how it works.
exactly.
I think you guys, this is like that moment in Step Brothers where you guys are just going to look at each other and be like, we just become best friends. Name your favorite golden retriever.
No, I'll see, like,
Shiloh. Holy shit.
Shadow, get the fuck out of here.
I'll see like other, musicians or whatever celebrities get like a golden, and like I'll
Yeah.
hit them up and be like, "You got a golden now?" I'd be like, "We should hang out." You know what I mean? And, like literally for
Let's
no
go to the
other
park.
reason
Yeah.
than that. Like
Yeah.
I would never.
Who just got a golden?
I mean, Calvin Harris got a golden.
Wow.
So
We've
now
hung out
you're like-
before that, but I was
Yeah.
like, now we should like hang out.
Yeah, the
proper,
friendship is
actually,
valid.
Now we
with
can
our dogs.
finally really be friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could just sit there and talk. Like we don't have to talk about anything other than them playing and be like, "Look at them." You know, what I mean?
It's
They're
an easy
loving
hang,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, when you guys did the Victoria's Secret fashion show, was that your pickup line? Like you just walk up to the malls and go, "Hey, I got a golden retriever."
Yeah.
Just like just like to have
Like
the
you know,
photos
you
of
like
the
let her off
dog.
the leash and like runs into the room and then
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Oh, my golden retriever. He's so cute though.
I feel like
Hi.
it's funny because like that was such an amazing experience to be a part of. But like,
Yeah.
that's when you're like, "Yo, I'm on my best behavior." Not like in
Yeah.
like you're ever on bad behavior, but you're like, this is where like a normal guy would just lose his mind and
Yeah.
like like break down. You're like, I have to be like the most consummate gentleman here. Like you have a jacket, put it over a puddle.
Yeah,
You know, and you're just like, and for no, it's just it was such a cool experience, and like mostly the reason I say that is because like these girls are working so hard all year long for this one moment
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and you just don't want to blow it for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
You don't want to swing into them with your guitar. You don't
Yeah.
want to stand in front of them. You don't want to like.
And I feel like that's been this
Yeah.
kind of collection of our moments, like performing with our song for the first time ever with Coldplay at the Brits Awards, which is like the Grammys in
Oh, yeah, it's
England.
huge.
And it was just like Coldplay's never fucked up live. You know what I mean? So like, let's
haven't,
not
huh?
let this be the moment
Oh,
that
man.
we fuck up Coldplay's
Right.
only live performance. And so like that's
Was
kind
that
of, like-
unbelievable? How many people was that?
I mean, it's
It's
like
more
an
on TV, but
arena
yeah.
TV thing. But you're just like, you know how the internet is. Like
Yeah.
before you could get away with something and people would just have to like talk about it. Like, remember, like,
Yeah.
and they're like, no, I
Like,
never
no, I
saw
didn't
that.
see it.
You know?
Yeah.
No,
And
now-
it's like,
It's gonna happen. I mean,
Like-
I remember one MTV VMAs after a Nirvana performance. Chris Novoselic threw his bass up in the air and was like, "I'm gonna throw it up in the air and I'm gonna catch it."
Yeah.
He did not catch it.
Yeah.
It landed on his head, and you see him like stumbling around the stage, definitely concussed.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're just like, wow. So you're just trying to make sure you don't have that moment where.
yeah, 100%. And it's like, those are, like we played, we played a couple of big things, and I mean, some things definitely didn't go that smooth, but
It's
everything
part of the live
is,
aspect, though, man. I mean, it's like nobody's.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's like one thing if it's just our thing, and you're just like, listen, like this is our game to lose. Like
Yeah.
if we lose, it's like
On us.
But when
Yeah.
it's like I'm gonna ruin Coldplay, you know what I mean?
Which would have been the great
Yeah.
name for a follow-up album after the performance.
I ruined Coldplay.
Everyone would listen to that.
Yeah. Or like, like just like the Victoria's Secret show just goes down,
Sure.
like the biggest blooper
Yeah.
moment or
Yeah.
something. You're just like, I don't want that. You know what
No.
I mean? Like, I don't want to
I
be
can't
known
live
for
with
that.
that.
You guys do seem pretty, and I, as we wrap up here, thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, of course,
This was
man.
fucking awesome.
This
Hope
is
you guys
great.
had a good time. But like, Norm took me to the iHeartRadio Awards when you guys won. I think this was maybe a year ago or 2 years ago.
I love how you're looking at me like I wasn't there.
You weren't there. But you guys have won a ton of awards, and like what you see is what you get with you guys, which is pretty dope. Like when
Yeah.
you see interviews online, and like I remember even saying, which is crazy to be here with you now. I put it on my vision board that I would be here, but I didn't. That's creepy. But seeing you guys on stage when you're accepting the award, and you just seem so chill, and then like I watched some stuff, and you've seen performances, and hearing you guys talk today, like it's really. I think it contributes to like your success, and definitely like your work ethic and like having like a good head on your shoulders? Like,
I think it does and it doesn't. Like, I mean, I appreciate you saying that because that's
these
like
have been
I'm gonna stop you
these have
right
been
there.
compliments that backfire.
no, because like the compliment itself is exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
I'm not saying you're not a piece of shit. Let
I'm
me
just
finish.
saying.
Yeah, let me finish.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like people don't want to see that though. They want like 6'9". They want like when you ask the question of like what was the most expensive thing you like bought when you got money, it's like, oh, an elephant. You know what I mean? And it's dead now. You know, because I didn't know how to take care of it.
Because we didn't feed it.
Yeah, and PETA groups are all over my ass.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right,
And
right.
like, but like we just are like two chill regular dudes, and like you know, and I feel like
But
it's,
there's a
like celebrities are like, you're not celebrity enough. You know what I mean? And regular
Yeah.
people are just
But
like,
there's enough of that.
We don't want you to be regular. You
Yeah.
know, like be more like outlandish, and we're just like, you know. So it's like I think when you get together, people like everyone always just enjoy. That's like the thing that we.
Do you
love
feel like
to
that
hear.
is your critique that you're like?
But that's
too
also
regular?
like well, I think that's like the awkward. I don't want to say downfall, but
Yeah.
like
Or down.
downfall is that we're just like.
All right, so we'll
two
know the
chill.
chains are taking a
Chainsmokers.
turn when you buy an elephant.
Yeah.
We're like, oh crap.
What'd you
Yeah.
get that
Deep
for,
end.
dude? Because we didn't have one. Oh, okay, good reason.
True.
Yeah.
Well, cool, guys.
But yeah. Anyways, so
yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wait, so and you guys are obviously on social media. That's no
Yeah, we're on
surprise.
social
Do you
media.
dig it? Do you like to post and whatever? Like, it's a challenge for us as comics to always be like, fucking, you know, just you gotta do it.
It
but
feels like really vain, huh?
it does.
you
It's
know?
like I have to remind
it's like-
myself.
Look
to-
how awesome! Look at this awesome shit I did. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm eating breakfast. Do I really need to put a photo of this
Yeah.
on? But
Yeah,
I
you do.
Look at these
Because we-
pants I'm wearing.
I
Well,
mean,
see, that's a
I'm
worthy
going
post.
to Instagram those
Yeah.
pants. I want my own pair of those pants.
Yeah.
We're gonna make this happen. I don't know. I don't know if Baby Gap sells the jean flannel combo.
They have to.
One of each, and you can make
There
it at
you
home.
go.
But there is like value, like at your shows and stuff, when people are posting. Like when Chris posted that video at your show, I was like, oh, I can't wait to fucking go to that because
Yeah,
that looks
yeah.
insane. So like that is.
Those are definitely part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like, you know, there's benefits and there's drawbacks, of
Yeah.
course. Like, I think it's.
You have millions of followers too, so is there extra pressure where you're like, fuck, we should do it, or
I
just
feel
to
like
keep
we're
them-
just. I mean, like you know, it's like the same thing. I feel like if you're like a 17-year-old right now, like Instagram, it means an entirely different thing to you. That
Yeah.
like you grew up just like used to being like I video everything I do.
Yeah.
Some people. Like maybe a lot of people watch it, maybe a lot of people don't. For us, it was like this introduction of like a way to reach fans and like let people into your world a little bit more. But also, we're still like I don't want to let you in totally. You know what I mean?
for sure, you got to
And-
keep that distance. I feel
and that's like
Yeah.
I think a benefit and a positive and a negative
Yeah.
depending on like, but like I think it's definitely making a lot of people lose their fucking minds.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
general.
Totally.
You're gonna
everyone's
keep
going
your
crazy.
elephant to yourself, is what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah,
You're not
exactly.
gonna have
Yeah.
like, here's me and Peanut.
dude, so stereotypical.
Exactly, and that's what everyone will make fun of him for.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, really, just
Ooh.
naming a peanut. Yeah, really.
predictable elephant name.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are the shit.
Thank you.
The win. I mean, obviously, and like anything. I mean, like obviously, we'll do a bunch of stuff in the intro. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
is
no
there
worries.
something you want people to like, go check out right now?
Yeah, the memes of us.
Yeah.
on Instagram. Yeah.
There you go.
Write positive things in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Post your favorites.
And we will come to one of these shows at the Win.
Yeah,
and
please do.
That'd be
Yes.
awesome. And I want to suggest, and Brad has said yes to it before when I've suggested it for other things, getting either a tiny parachute to or a cannon to shoot him into the crowd off
my
of the
God.
stage.
Listen,
Yeah.
Steve Wynn goes out there on a raft and he throws cakes at people.
Steve Wynn.
Steve Wynn, Aoki, that guy. You know what?
You're banned from property now.
All I'm saying is that you can do it at the Win. But yeah. He's got his own thing. You guys can have your dwarf cannon.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't sound like unethical.
I've
Yeah.
got a lot of friends. We can get that like big thing that the Clippers use. It's like a machine gun for T-shirts, and we just load in like 8
you fit in there?
dwarves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just eight of us. And
8
just,
seems like a lot.
I feel like that's the thing where they're like, that's just not right. And then you're like, defense is like, look, he loves it. And, you know what I mean? And you're like,
This is how he was born.
he loves it. But like, you know, they say that about like animals and stuff,
Yeah,
like when
yeah.
they can't like that cruelly or like something. You're like, what are
Yeah.
you talking about? He loves swimming. You know,
yeah,
and in the water.
yeah.
But like
He
with a
loves
human,
being
you'd be like,
proud.
look, tell him. I love it.
I love
You know,
it.
man.
They're not just paying me.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Steve Aoki, and I love Steve Wynn too.
You guys are the best. Thank
Cheers.
you so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
It's about last night.